Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode. This is episode 16 of my podcast, Noodle Doodle, and I am your host, Lazaro Gomez. Little visual representation there for anybody who's watching on YouTube. Good morning. Good Sunday morning to you all. If you're new to Noodle Doodle, I guess I should get this out of the way. If you're new to the podcast, this is basically my downtime or chill time, if you would. Every Sunday morning around this time, 9:30-ish, I wake up, I work on my prompt book that was given to me as a gift, and we pick a topic and we just kind of shoot the breeze. So if this is your cup of tea or coffee, make sure to get that ready. Hang out with me for about 30 or 35 minutes, and we'll go through this episode. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I have this little icon of a house. Episode 16 is about remodeling, and our prompt for the day is power lines. So I'm thinking of doing something really funny for power lines. It's something that I saw in a Pixar movie. So in a Pixar movie, these birds are all on a wire, and this one big bird comes and sits on the wire and sinks it down, and then they all slide down, and I thought it was hilarious. So I'm gonna do something similar to that, but using my characters. So yeah, if you're new to this podcast, it is very different than the Friday night live stream, because that one normally has a topic art related. This one's more laid back as you're making breakfast and getting ready for the day. But yeah, today's topic is home improvement, and I've been fairly busy. And just to kind of go back a little bit, here's what's been happening. So when I bought my house 20 some odd years ago, maybe 19, it's going to be 20, I guess. But anyways, there was, the Gomez army was just a party of three. It was my wife, my son, and myself. And we bought this little 2-2 house, and we thought it was gonna be adequate enough for us. Had a garage that I had a garage that was my studio. It was my workspace, because I do both artwork and props and stuff like that. And at the time, my wife had a my wife had a medical condition that we thought prevented her from having any more children. So that was part of the decision of making the house. We got a really nice house, little quaint, starter home. And then a few years later, she became pregnant. Much to our surprise, we did not just have one, but we had two other children, which are my two daughters, Emma and Sophia. And oh boy, this little house became real cozy real fast. But we were stuck in a bit of a conundrum, a bit of a dilemma, if you would. At the time, I was the only one working, and things were not bad, but they were certainly not comfortable. We were making do, the five of us in this tiny little house, and our conundrum was this: our bills were very, very low, and if we moved anywhere else, then of course we would have to have additional costs and stuff like that. So we've been sitting on the fence for a very long time as to what to do. Do we, now we're in a much more comfortable place. Do we do we move to another house and get more room, or do we stay here because my son is in college now. That little baby that we moved into the house with is now a strapping young lad, and of course, at the age that he's at, he is in college, and he's, you know, fairly far along in college, and he's starting to think about his future plans and where he wants to be and what he wants to do. And so that may not include staying here in the house. You know, he may go on and start his own life. So yet again, we're we're stuck in this holding pattern, if you would. It's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna get a bigger house, and then it's gonna be empty, and I have added costs and whatnot. And you know, sure, yeah, I could do that. It would be fine, but it kind of sucks, you know. It kind of sucks to just have added bills and stuff. So now, my wife and I, we're at the point where we still got two, you know, we still got two little birds in the nest. And next year, one of them will be going to junior high, which is crazy to me. But now, you know, do we get a bigger house? Do we get more bills? Do we, you know, this and that, whatever? And we don't know, you know, we don't know. So we're balancing it all out. But the cool thing is that here, being in the house, and just to kind of give you perspective, I film all these videos from my home studio, which I do, you know, I do all of my artwork and all of my YouTube videos and stuff like that from this location, which is a closet that I converted. And if you've seen my earlier videos, there are some videos of me actually converting this closet into my workspace. So it's in a hallway here in my master bedroom. But it works, you know what I mean? It works because I don't require a lot of space, and I can do a lot with that space. And it's worked for years. So so we enjoy the house. We lovingly call it Serenity. And yeah, it works, you know, it works for what we want. So we decided that the best thing to do is to just kind of continue raising our two daughters, figure out what my son's gonna do, and in the meantime, we remodel. Remodel the house and revamp things. My home was built in the 80s, which has its characteristics, but there's a lot of things that we have been upgrading, and we still need to continue upgrading. So, you know, we have brand new appliances, but the kitchen is old. The new AC unit, you know, we did all the flooring, we did all the walls, we basically did all the work here. The garage that I had, my wife and I, we closed it up and made the additional room that is now my son's room, and we made it work, right? So we are no strangers. We are no strangers to just kind of making things work, right? And so anyways, we are at that point where it's like, okay, well, we need to figure out what we're gonna do, and we decided we're gonna go ahead and remodel. So that works. It works out well, and right now we are getting quotes for new windows and a new door, or both front and back door. Ooh, I hit the microphone. Sorry about that. New doors, new windows, because the windows are from the 80s, so they're out of code. they're not very energy efficient at all. Well, they're not energy efficient at all, I should say. They're outdated, and of course, there's new codes, there's new windows, and they have argon gas in them, and they're energy efficient. They're really really great for the house, right? So so we're in the process of doing that. New doors, new windows. We're changing the way our backyard is because we want to incorporate a little garden to have veggies and some fruits and perhaps some maybe some herbs or whatnot for cooking and things like that. So we want to revamp a little bit. And in that process, of course, everybody starts throwing out ideas. Oh, it'd be cool if we had LED lights behind our TVs, and oh, it'd be cool if we had this. It would be cool if we had that. And it's interesting because for years and years and years, well, when we first moved into the house, my wife and I would do everything. We did everything, and repairs and upgrades, and anything that dealt with the house, cutting the yard, and all of that good stuff. We're pretty much self-sufficient here, and we love it. We love doing these little weekend projects. And all right, this weekend we're gonna redo the closet, or this weekend we're gonna change out the sink in the bathroom or whatever. And when we first moved in, there was a lot of that. But the problem was I got real busy real fast. I got real busy real fast. So before there was a YouTube channel, before there was BOT10ART, I was doing commercial art type work. I was designing logos. I was building websites. I was at the time the rise of social media was happening, so everybody wanted the Facebook graphics and this and that, whatever, web-based graphics and all that good stuff. So I was very busy doing that, and shortly after I started getting into artwork. So I started doing conventions and shows and doing fine art pieces and this and that, whatever. And then I started doing commissions for people and so on and so forth. Fast forward all the way to now, I have a YouTube channel. I do custom pops. I do custom artwork for people and all that stuff. So I've been busy for the past 10 years, 10, 15 years. I've been doing a lot of artwork, and those home improvement projects and stuff, they kind of they get pushed to the side a little bit, and that's what happens. It's just you say, well, I'll get to it, and you kind of never do until now. And that was part of that is what I just described. We had no idea if we were going to stay in the house or if we were going to sell, because that's another thing too. If you're going to sell your house, then you have to get it ready for that. So you make the necessary repairs, paint this and that, whatever, add new things, change windows, blah blah blah, and your house will be ready to sell. And so there was, I would say the last like 4 years, we've been tossing that around. We've been thinking about that. It's like, okay, well, do we want to get the house ready for sale, or do we want to stay, do we want to make modifications and stay here? Like, what do we want to do? And so finally we decided, we're like, you know what, the girls still need to stay here because the school that they're going to is close by, so we kind of need to stay in this area until they're done. So we said, okay, well, let's bring the house let's bring the house up to code. Let's upgrade some things, and kind of get back into the home improvement of the house. And that's what's in the process. So this weekend, and there was some weird things in my house that from the previous owner that kind of didn't make any sense. They made some modifications that were like, what the hell's going on here? One of those things was the previous owner, of course, if you remember, big CRT type TVs, or like these big giant TVs. The previous owner cut a hole here in the closet, and he cut a hole in the closet the shape of the TV and built this wooden thing and stuck the TV in there, and that was his makeshift like flat screen TV. They grab a ruler real quick. And so anyways, when we moved in, I got rid of that whole wood contraption that he had there, and I was gonna patch up the hole. And long story short, we from what I described earlier, we kind of bypassed it a little bit, and the way we got around it is my dresser has my dresser has this really big mirror, and when we moved that piece of furniture to that wall, it covered the hole. So it's like, you know what, screw it, don't worry about it now. We'll eventually get to that. And so that's one of those things that we kind of left to the wayside. There's a couple of little things here and there, nothing major, but they just look odd, right? They look weird. They look weird and outdated, and so now I'm at the point where I can balance it out, balance all my artwork out, and everything that I'm doing with what I'm doing in the house. So yeah, we're in the process of changing a lot of things in the house. So we're remodeling, right? We're changing things, we're painting things, we're adding things, and part of that, what sparked it all was this studio. Was this, because like I said, when I closed in the garage, I lost all that studio space and said, okay, well, how are we gonna do this? So all of my tools and prop making stuff went to a shed outside, secure shed, and then all of the artwork stuff came here. So I have all these shelves, I have everything I need, and it actually works out really cool because everything is the length of an arm. I can reach and grab stuff, tape, knives, brushes, everything. It's all nice and neat, well organized right here, and it works. So that's when we decided, we're like, all right, well, let's make this work, let's figure it out. We're staying in the house, we're staying in the house, and we're gonna start remodeling stuff. So I've been I've been receiving things. I am like the king of the online shopper. I am the king online shopper. As I mentioned before in previous Noodle Doodles, not a big fan of going to stores. I don't spend a lot of time in stores. I just literally run in, grab what I want, and keep on trucking, if you would. So if I see something online, I'll have it shipped to the house, and I have it right away. It's not a big deal. So I've been ordering quite a few things, and as these items come in, I set up projects and stuff like that. So it works out really, really well for me, because some of those home improvement projects could be uh, part of the Friday night live stream. Like, really, these are cool upgrades to our living space, but they're artistic. They have a certain little style to them and stuff like that. So some of those projects that I'll be working on will trickle through to the live stream, and I'm excited about that, because we figured out a way to incorporate all of that, right? To make that happen. And I think it's really, really cool that we can do that sort of stuff and have it be a learning experience, I guess, for all of you who watch on a weekly basis. And like I said, we basically plan these projects out, and we say, okay, this week or this weekend we're gonna do this, that, and the other. And then I'm looking at my schedule. It's like, okay, well, I got 3 pops here. I gotta finish these. I gotta send that one out. Okay, I got a small window here. I can do that and do this, and But at the same time, we are also getting assistance, like the windows. There's standard windows and stuff like that I can do. That's easy to do. My wife and I, we could swap out windows. But the sliding glass door is a bit more complicated. And it not so much complicated to install. It's just like, it's a giant door, man, and I don't want to mess with it. So my wife doesn't want to mess with it, and we're kind of like, what do we do? We'll just pay somebody to do it. So there are some things like that we will farm out, or we'll hire somebody to do. And the rest of the stuff we just kind of move along with, or we'll figure out along the way. But so yeah, I kind of feel as if doing these kinds of projects and these kinds of things, they could be daunting, they could be a pain, they could be frustrating, dealing with certain people or companies, I should say. We had a few quotes from some people, and it was like, no, no, you're out of your mind. Because of course, everybody's in the business of making money, and there's nothing wrong with that. I am in the same business. I make money with my artwork, with my craft, with my talent, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, we do know the cost of things, and just some of the things didn't add up. Nice enough people. There were some of the people that came here to the house and kind of looking at things. They were cool. They were cool people. Just not what we're looking for. So of course, we have to make the right choices and get the best for our family, and work it all out. But I was curious, and perhaps you can leave me a comment. But have you all worked on any kind of home improvement? Do you do it yourself? Because we are big DIY people. we like to do things on our own. Whatever we can, of course, within boundaries. And it's really funny because sometimes when we go to home improvement stores and stuff like that, they're kind of surprised because we are knowledgeable and we know about these things. Like a lot of the times, what people don't know about Windows is that you need to pull a permit. It's as simple and as simple as that sounds. It's a no-brainer thing. Yeah, you're doing an upgrade, you probably need a permit. But a lot of people don't think about that, and a lot of people do things without permits, and so on and so forth. But uh, one can argue the fact that, oh well, you don't need a permit, it's your house, blah blah blah. It's like, well, uh, eventually we will sell this house, and everything has to have a permit, and everything has to be legit, and all of that good stuff. So we're not taking any chances. And everything we've done in the house, we have full permits for, and it's not a big deal. You're adding an extra 60, 70, maybe $100 sometimes. It's well worth it to do things proper way, rather than deal with a big problem later on. So going back to this sort of stuff at the hardware store, they're kind of like, well, you got to do this and you got to do that. It's like, yeah, we know, we got that, and oh, okay. So they like it. They like it when you're an informed consumer, because it kind of saves them time on um, it saves them time explaining things to you. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't. I would like to think they do, because you're making an informed decision, and so anyways, you go in and you're looking for all of these different things, and that's how it gets done, right? So, but you do have some people that are like, you do have some people, like, you go into the hardware store or whatnot, and one person will tell you, oh yeah, just get this and get that and blah blah blah, and don't worry about this and don't worry about that. And then you have the other person that's like, well, you need this, this, and that. And sure, it could be a matter of like training. Perhaps that person forgot their training or whatnot. But I don't think that's what it is. I think it's more of the way that you communicate, and we've talked about that on other Noodle Doodles. But communication goes a long way, and of course, when you're doing home improvements and you're doing projects and stuff like that, it's important to really know what it is that you're tackling, right? You can't just like, well, I want to tile my house. How big is your house? Big. It's a little bit more than that. You're gonna have to measure the space. You gotta think about the materials that you're gonna get, and then also add a 10-15% on that. So if you're doing 1,000 square feet or 2,000 square feet or 3,000 square feet, add an additional 15% to that, because you're gonna break tiles. You're gonna have to store some, just in case somebody drops something on a tile, it cracks. Oh my God, how am I gonna match this tile? Well, you have it, and that's the purpose. That's the reason why. But like I said, that it was really surprising, that people know this sort of stuff, or that people see that we know this stuff. Another thing is, and it's getting better. It used to be a lot worse back in the day. It used to be a lot worse back in the day. It is getting better now, but when it comes to the relationship between my wife and I, we're 50-50. We're down the middle. She can make decisions on her own, the same way I can, and we can both make decisions with no problems, right? So we share responsibility, and you'll be surprised when contractors come in and they want to talk to me. And I'm like, nope, I'm busy. My wife is right there. I gotta finish painting this wall here. And what? But you're the man of the house, and blah 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 blah. And I think it's so like ridiculous because there are a lot of strong women out there. There's a lot of positive women out there that can do the same thing a man can. And to think that we still have people that think that way, um, it's a little disheartening. It's a little sad to see that. So anybody that comes in and wants to do work for us and deals with my wife is great. If you don't want to deal with her, then you're not gonna do business with us because we're the same. she's gonna know what I'm thinking, right? Because we talk about all these things. We say, all right, well, what do we want? How much do we want to spend? Where are we gonna get it from? What are the things you like? And these are all real conversations. And with the girls, with the kids here, they see me working on stuff and they're eager to jump in. And so yesterday, my daughter, she was installing drywall with me. uh, 9 years old, 9 years old, soon to be 10, is running the drill, drilling screws into drywall with me, and it became an experience, and it's a learning experience because for us, it's all about education. And I know that talking about these topics will, I don't know, maybe upset people or rile people up, but I'm certainly not trying to do that. I'm just saying I am proud of strong, independent women, and couples that work together. I've been married for 25 years, and we've always done things that way. So my wife, she could change a tire, she can do oil changes, she can do all of that good stuff the same way I can. And so, going into these stores, well, let me tell you how it is. Nah, we already know, dude. But it makes the experience a lot easier. And those are kinds of things that you would want to think about if you're doing remodeling or if you're thinking of doing something. And that's the beauty of YouTube also, is that, man, you need to change a sink or a toilet or something. There's a video out there that somebody made that will help you get whatever job you need done. And that's what I love about YouTube. It's just a really cool platform because how many times something happens or something breaks and you're like, well, let me check YouTube real quick. And for my car, it's been that, how do we replace this or how do we replace that, and what's it cost and where do we get it? And I buy a lot of parts for my vehicles and stuff like that when we need them. I buy them online and then they get shipped to the house. I swap them out and we keep on trucking. So yeah, if you come from the DIY philosophy, that's definitely something to think about. So, but anyways, that is home improvement. Home improvement happening here in the Gomez household. And of course, I'm at that point where I have to do art projects and I have commissions, and then I'm also working on house things and stuff like that. So we're going to continue on that trend or that path until we get everything upgraded that we needed to upgrade. And I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. And perhaps I'll be making some videos or posting on Instagram of my updates to share with all of you all. But yeah, that's kind of the way it goes. So there you have it. Home improvement, power lines. Yeah, big fat bird. And he's bending the line. If you're watching on YouTube. But yeah, so I need to go ahead and put this up and start working on some home improvement projects here around the house. As always, thanks for watching. If you like this sort of stuff, tell your friends or leave me a like. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, I suggest you do. We got a lovely community of people that come together on a Friday night, which is completely amazing. I want to say welcome to all the new subscribers to the channel, and you'll quickly learn the ropes. But we have a good time here. You need a safe little harbor to hang out from the storm of everyday life. You definitely found it here. So have a wonderful rest of the weekend. I send all my love to all my friends, my family. And yeah, we're going to do like we always do. We'll be back next week with another prompt, another podcast, and we'll figure it out one day at a time, right? As always, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. All right, we'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.